Hey, welcome to a fresh new episode of the TD News Show and a happy Monday to everybody. How's your weekend, guys? Hope you had a great one. If you haven't, well, then just remember this: the world is filled with bad things, and right now the world needs people like you, good people, and good people sometimes goes through bad times. But if you love tech, then who knows? After watching this episode, you might be in a good mood. So now let's talk about some news, shall we? And let's start the show with AMD because they are making quite a noise in the rumor mill. According to the current rumor, AMD is working on a RDNA 3 GPU design based on chiplet. The chiplet design is supposed to feature 280 compute units die. Having 280 compute unit die would bring the total core number to exactly 10,240 cores. Combined with the RDNA 3's architecture, which is supposed to bring better performance per watt compared to the last generation, the Navi 31 GPU is going to be a hell of a compute monster. Now, why AMD is doing this, you might ask? Well, in this industry, a constant process of innovation and development makes you one step ahead of the competition, and also at the same time they kinda know their way around with chiplet design, as we have seen with Ryujin. But again, these are all specs, and more than that, these are all rumors. So as always, take it with a grain of salt, and we will wait for the real world performance. Then we will judge how impressive it is or not. Now, talking about performance, I have not one, not two, but three performance numbers of Intel's upcoming 11th gen CPUs. These CPUs have been tested in Geekbench, and obviously these numbers are from Geekbench. So let's talk about that. First is the i9-11900K, a 8-core 16-threaded CPU with a base of 3.5 and a boost of 5.28 GHz, scored 1892 on single core and 10,934 on multi-core. Next one is the i7-11700K, which is also a 8-core 16-threaded CPU but with a base clock of 3.6 and a boost clock of 4.5 GHz, and it scored 1551 in single core and 8849 in multi-core. And lastly, we have the i5-11500K, which is a 6-core 12-threaded CPU with a base of 2.7 and a boost of 4.57 GHz, and it scored 1588 in single core and 7265 in multi-core test. Now, I know that was a lot of numbers, but the main takeaway is in single core, these Intel CPUs are performing really impressive. They are giving a tough competition, even sometimes outright beating their competition, I mean Ryzen. But when it comes to multi-core, well, the table then turned and the story is much different. But again, these are synthetic benchmarks, so as always, wait for the real world performance, which should be coming after the launch, which we don't know when it's launching. And also the price is going to be a big factor of this 11th gen CPUs, because if Intel priced it right, then they might have a great product on their hand, and if they don't, well, it's the same story always. Classic Intel. But the real story for Intel is at this one. Intel is bringing back a veteran architect who not only worked for Intel for 35 years but also was the lead architect of Intel's one of the most successful architecture, Narham. Glenn Hurton announced that he is coming back out of his retirement to return to the chip maker. After enjoying a real retirement for 3 years, I have decided to go back to work at Intel. What would entice me to do something like that? I will be working on an exciting high performance CPU project, Hilton wrote on his LinkedIn. Now, I don't know about you all, but what I can say is day by day, this is getting pretty interesting, and I am pretty hyped up. Like, I always say this: it doesn't matter who wins, either it's Intel or it's AMD. At the end of the day, who is gonna enjoy the benefit? Well, us consumers, because I know they're gonna get the money from us. But hey, if both of them compete with each other like this, we will get cheaper products. So that's a win-win for all of us. Now, talking about win-win, well, Australia and Google are not in a win-win situation, because Google recently threatened Australia that they will stop their search engine in Australia. If you're asking me why, well then, Australia is introducing a world first law to make Google, Facebook and potentially other tech companies to pay media outlet for their news content. But the US firm have fought back, warning the law would make them withdraw some of their service. Now it's a long and complicated things why Australia is doing this, because for like past few years their news sector has been declining. Now if you want to know more about this topic, well, I have linked down a BBC article. It's a really good read if you are interested in this topic, so go ahead and check it out. Now talking about going ahead and checking out, let's check out today's quick news, because this is the time for the quick news. So why not talk about the quick news? MacBook Pro with SSD card slot, no touch bar could be coming in 2021. Samsung display to introduce first 90Hz OLED laptop display. EK Water Block releases Founders Edition RTX 3090 Special Edition block. ASUS showcase ROG Ryujin 2 AIO cooler with 3.5-inch LCD display. Corsair launches new Vengeance Pro SL memory. Intel has fixed its 7nm node, but outsourcing is still going to happen. Intel rumored to announce 12th Gen Core Alder Lake-S CPUs in September. Nvidia to start sending GeForce RTX 3060 review samples on February 19th. Home security technician admits hacking customers' security camera. Now, if you want to know more about any of these topics, well, I have linked down all the stories in the description, so go ahead and check them out. Now let's talk about some of the stuff I like, starting with the movie Soul. Recently the movie Soul reached the most viewed media on streaming platform, beating Office, and the Soul has been viewed for 1.669 billion minutes. Yes, a billion with a B. That's a lot of time, and I can understand. Like, I watched the movie and literally like just let's just forget Pixar's some tragedies movies with talking cars, okay, but except that, every single other Pixar movie, I don't know why Pixar is branded as a kids brand, or like, you know, it makes movies for kids, because Soul isn't a kid movie. Like, yes, there was some good cheesy jokes and cheesy scenes, but no, it wasn't a kids movie. It was a movie meant for adults. And not only the Soul, Coco, Moana, all these movies were in a way they were not kids movie. Okay, you're not gonna change my mind. And I cried after watching Soul. I cried, like, literally, believe me, if I start to remember the scene where I particularly cried, I'm gonna start crying right now. And like, if you haven't watched the movie, just go ahead and watch it. And if you are someone like at my age, 2021, it will help you in a lot of things. And the movie is kind of therapeutic, at least for me. I know I'm saying, like, praising this movie too much, but it is what it is. It is a goddamn good movie, man. Like, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. It's on Disney Plus. You don't know what you will miss out if you don't watch this movie, so go ahead and check it out. Next on, WandaVision star said that WandaVision picks up after Endgame. That means WandaVision starts from after, like, that whole thing happened Endgame, you know, the snap, then after again another snap. And I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I have some theories which can become spoilers. Like, I'm not sure about that, but I have some theories which have a good chance that they will become a spoilers if I say that. So I'm not gonna say anything anymore about this topic. Now let's talk about the next and last news for today, and that is Godzilla vs King Kong. A trailer, release date, poster, all have been released. I have linked down a RGN article, and you can go to YouTube where you're watching this video, search Godzilla vs King Kong and watch the trailer. It's a good trailer. But here's the thing, I never liked Godzilla. Like, like I know it's an interesting movie, it has action and all that. I don't know, it just never intrigued me. And yes, there are kids just like shouting outside. I love kids, and I'm not gonna say anything about it. But next, back to the topic, and that is Godzilla vs King Kong. It's a good movie. I never watched King Kong or the Godzilla, and I don't know. I think I would never watch it. Like, it's a good movie. It has good reviews and all that, but it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Like this episode. This episode is not for anybody of you anymore. That was a very bad line and has a lot of grammatical errors. But this episode is ending. The main point is that this episode is ending. This is the end of this episode. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't, leave it a dislike. But remember, okay, if you dislike this video, King Kong will come at your house and will undislike you and then like you this video. Well, that was quite threatening. No, I was just joking. It's your life. Do whatever you want to do with it, man. If you want to like it, go ahead. If you want to dislike it, go ahead, do it. Whatever you want. And if you want to watch more videos from us, check out this video right here. And if you want to subscribe, which I appreciate if you do that, well, do it by here. And there's Akash, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.